Well, the ACLU became famous over almost 100 years by defending due process and free speech, especially for deeply unpopular people. That long and noble tradition is over now in the name of left-wing solidarity. The ACLU has been running an ad likening Brett Kavanaugh to Bill Cosby, even though they have literally nothing in common. Of course, Kavanaugh has not even been tried. Here it is.
We've seen this before, denials from powerful men.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I've never seen anything like this.
I categorically and unequivocally deny the allegation against me by Dr. Ford.
America is watching. And as we choose a lifetime seat on our highest court, integrity matters, and we cannot have any doubt. Senator Gardner, oppose the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh.
Fayez Shakir is the ACLU's national political director, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Shakir, thank you for coming on.
Hi, Tucker. Thank you.
This is a disgusting ad, obviously, but what's so distressing is that you ran it, because this is guilt by association, the very thing the ACLU nobly stood against during, for instance, the blacklist period. Bill Cosby and Brett Kavanaugh have nothing in common, and yet you twin them in order to discredit Kavanaugh. How could you do that as the ACLU?
So appreciate your comments, Tucker. The common thread here, of course, is powerful men whose careers were on the line issuing denials about sexual wrongdoing. And in this instance, we believe that the denial issued by Brett Kavanaugh goes right to integrity, a position that he's applying for on the Supreme Court, in which he sits in judgment of the rest of the nation. Integrity is of the critical importance, the utmost importance.
Okay,
and we have doubt about his integrity.
I agree, and I would never argue against the importance of integrity. Okay. But Bill Cosby has been convicted of crimes in court. He went through the legal process, the one that the ACLU, before it was taken over by partisans like you, once defended. Brett Kavanaugh has not been. So putting them together is by definition guilt by association and unfair. Do you think that the person in your position 20 years ago would have seen that?
Tucker, this isn't a civil or criminal trial. I think you understand that. We're talking about a job promotion assessment.
No, that's the point I'm making.
The standard of proof here is not a beyond a reasonable doubt assessment.
So then why did you put him next to Bill Cosby, who has been tried and convicted?
He is not entitled to the presumption of innocence. If you assume that, you're saying he's entitled to the job on the Supreme Court.
I'm sorry, but I'm not actually. No, but hold on. I'm not arguing that. I'm asking you why you put him next to a man who was tried in court and convicted of felonies and sentenced to prison.
Because that
when
individual
he, as you just noted, hasn't done any of those things.
That individual also denied the accusations. I think you would appreciate, Tucker, that we're criticizing people on the left and the right.
I don't care about the left and the right. I care about the principles that make the country worth living in, which you once defended and now you urinate on. Why not put him next to Charles Manson?
Sexual assault is to be taken very seriously here, Tucker, and I think that we're often crowding out the voices of women and believing the men and not believing women. In this case, this woman came forward under extreme difficult circumstances, and we should be believed.
Hold on, you're the ACLU. Hold on, you're the ACLU. You don't believe in collective judgment or collective punishment. You believe in the rights of. Let me just remind you what you believe, because I think I know more about your organization than you. I just wrote a chapter of a book on the ACLU. Okay.
It's an individualized determination about this woman who came forward and offered credible
Exactly. Thank you. Now evidence. You're back in reasonable mode. So why would you say it's about women being heard when, of course, it's not? It's about one woman making one allegation against one man. It's not about all women.
In those instances, there have been other men who've denied accusations before them that we've said. And all we're saying is that in this instance, like in previous instances, women deserve an opportunity to be heard.
But it's not about, hold on. So you're endorsing collective judgment and collective punishment. Yes, you are. Other women have nothing to do with it?
Sir, the judgment made against Kavanaugh is on the merits of the issues against Kavanaugh. He has not been honest and forthright. Chucker, I believe this, that had he come forward and said, listen, all of us were young at some point in life. We did something.
Okay, now you're just getting into fantasies. Let me ask you. Let me ask you something that I've wanted to ask you for a long time. The ACLU is the reason that the First Amendment was defined in the Clarence Brandenburg versus Ohio case of 1967. He was a Klansman, and you guys defended his right to speak, and that's why I have the right to say what I think is true. The ACLU has now decided they're not going to defend anybody they disagree with.
No, sir. I think we are defending right now the
Do you
NRA.
want me to read the
We're
quote to you?
defining Milo. We're defining. If you remember
said,
the Charlottesville case.
Do you want me to read the quote?
Name another group out there.
I'll tell you. We can refuse cases defending
with people on different ideological spectrums than the ACLU.
This is your new standard.
Tell me another group that more than the ACLU.
You're trying to shout me down because you know.
I'm trying to defend my principles here.
No.
The
Let me
principles of the
read
organization.
the memo from your group. We're not going to assist in cases that may advance the goals of white supremacists or others whose views are contrary to our values. If you're not defending people who are unpopular, who you disagree with, why do you still exist?
We absolutely defend the people. We are doing it right now. If you look at a case in New York where we're defending the NRA, if you look at a case we're defending Milo.
I mean, how about someone who's really unpopular? You made this country better. Now you're making it worse because you abandoned your principles, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I mean that with total sincerity.
Tucker,
Thank you.
That's
no,
totally
it's not
unfair.
It's totally true.